Thank you for calling online support. My name is Sam. How may I help you?
Hi everyone, welcome to my new video. In this video, DeeVeeaar and myself joined forces again to call a scammer who goes by the name of Bob. Bob, we believe, is a single operator in that we think he's working from home, probably set up a simple system and has bought a single toll-free number in the States that he can be contacted on. It's quite interesting talking to Bob, but it's a very difficult guy to get to talk. So in this video you'll hear me talking a lot, and I apologise for that right now. Bob was one of those quiet people who really didn't want to say anything, so I've edited out huge gaps and huge silences where I've asked Bob a question and he hasn't answered, or he does answer but after quite a long delay. So please understand that the conversation did not go as it sounds in this video. It was much longer, much harder to do, and Bob was very reticent to say anything. So the information I did get out of him was quite interesting, but it wasn't actually very concrete. Bob has since made his number unavailable, which is a shame because it was quite fun talking to him. DeeVeeaar chimed in now and again, and he basically left it up to me to talk to Bob, and he gave information on the side as necessary. So watch out for more collaboration videos in the near future. I quite like this format, and I'm fairly sure it makes better videos for you to watch. So enjoy the video and let me know what you think in the comments. Ringing.
This number should be optional. I posted it at least.
Hello.
Hello, Bob.
Sorry.
Hello, Bob.
Yes.
It's David.
How are you?
I'm okay. You've been trying to hide from us. So, I just thought I'd tell you.
Your call.
You've been waiting for our call.
Yeah.
All right.
You were tired.
No, not at all. No, we've been playing games with other people.
All right.
We had to prioritize.
Now, right?
We had to prioritize who was important and who wasn't, and
What?
we had to deal with the important people first.
Okay. So we are not in the important list yet, right?
You're gonna have to say that again. You were a bit quiet then.
So we're not in the important list yet, right?
Oh, you will be now because Mr. Gardner has just posted your number. Because you didn't get back in touch with us, we gave you our email address. You didn't do anything with it. A little explanation here. In previous discussions with Bob, he said he wanted to talk to us off the record. So we gave him a working email address and a working phone number that he could contact us on. Unfortunately, he didn't take advantage of that, which is why we said to him in this case that he didn't get back in touch with us when he said he would. So anyway, how's your day? Have you had a good day so far?
Yes, sir.
You don't need to call me sir, you can call me David.
Okay, David.
Because I want to be friendly with you, because I've decided that rather than be horrible to you, which we were in the past, I'm a reformed character now, and I want to be your friend because Mr. Gardner, he's the bad one, you see, and he makes me do bad things. Because if I don't do what he says, then he beats me up. So I've decided that, seeing as I'm on my own tonight, I'm going to give you a call and try and become your friend, because I think I've been horrible to you in the past. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir. Yes, David.
David, yeah. So what's your real name, Bob? I know it's not Bob.
Sir, I can't reveal that.
I thought we were friends.
Yeah, you can say me Bob, no problem.
Okay, I'll call you Bob. Why Bob? What made you choose that name? What made you choose Bob? Was it just because it's an easy name for people to remember?
All right.
So, how many people do you have working? See, what we believe, and I'll just tell you what information we have on you so far, okay? We believe that you are working on your own and that you're not part of a call centre, because we've never heard any call centre noise, and call centres are noisy places. We also know that your telephone line, once it's been rung once, is busy afterwards, and so that means you've really only got one line that you've got working, maybe two at the most, but mainly just one, we think. We also don't think you're highly experienced, because in the calls that we've made to you where we haven't revealed ourselves, your approach has been not as professional as some of the others. I'm not saying it's poor, I'm just saying it's not as professional. So, we do know some things about you that we feel are fairly solid facts. So I just wondered, why did you decide to do this? What made you decide to go down this path?
Sir, you are saying that we are scammers, right?
Well, we know from the other calls that we've made to you that when you didn't know it was us, that you are, because of the approach that you take to trap people into taking contracts with you. You see, it's not just Mr. Gardner and I. We're part of quite a large organisation, and we have a whole bunch of people who call small companies, big companies, massive companies, and we assess them for their operational status, how well they work, what they do, things like that, and we score them. We give them a score for their competency and their risk, things like that. And so from the calls that we've made to you already, before Mr. Gardner and I became involved with you, we know that you are not 100% honest. We know that you try and use tactics like telling the customer that there's problems with the computer when there aren't, telling the customer that there's infections when there aren't, and these are things that are used to get the customer to sign up with you. When they're signed up, maybe you do support for them, but the techniques used to get them to sign up are crooked, and that's what makes us fairly confident that you are a scammer rather than an honest to goodness technical support person. And at the end of the day, there are so many technical support companies who are running scams in places like India, Pakistan, Philippines, and so on, that you being a one-man technical support person with a telephone line coming into the States, you'd stand no chance unless you were scamming. You wouldn't stand any chance at all of making a living at all. You see, we really know this business. We've been in this business ourselves for a long time, so we know this business very well. So I was just wondering what made you go down that path. Was it a conscious thing you did, or was it just something that happened, or did one of your friends tell you about it and you thought, that sounds like a good idea?
So first of all, let me tell you, sir, that David, that scammers, like, if any customer pay to us, right, and if we gave him the toll-free number as you are calling us, right, so we are not denying that you haven't paid us, right? Customer has the full authority that they can ask for the refund and everything, and we are providing them support. Like, if customer has any issue with the game, right, with the pop-up or anything. So we are providing the complete support.
So the question is not whether you're providing support, it's how you get your customers to sign up to it. Are you denying, Bob, that if a customer phones you up for the first time, that your process is to connect to their computer and to say, oh, look, here's the fault log, the event log, look at all these errors. Oh, look at all these services that are stopped. These are Microsoft services, they should be running. See, we know you do that because our colleagues, when they phoned you to test your company out, they had that exact response from you. So we know it's something you do. Now, that's underhand because that means somebody who's not experienced in using a computer or has no background knowledge of computers is going to listen to that and be worried or really terrified that something very serious is wrong, and it's going to entice them to sign up with your service. Now, I'm not saying that you don't give them support afterwards. Maybe you do, and maybe you rely on the fact.
Maybe.
Well, okay. Let's say you do. Let's say I'll admit then. I'll say I agree that you give them support, but your whole business strategy relies on the fact that most people aren't going to need support very much, and if you sell them a 1-year contract, if you hear from them once or twice in that year, then that's going to be a busy time for them. So it's not the support that's the issue, it's the way you get people to sign up for it. And you offer software as well, don't you? You offer virus software and network security software, and we all know that that's nonsense software. So, being honest with you, Bob, I'm trying to be nice. I'm just telling you what I know from my massive experience in this industry, that you don't need to try and fool me. I know the answer. You can justify what you think you're doing by the support, but my problem is the way you get your customers to take that support on. So, once again, why did you take this up? What experience have you got in technical support, Bob? Have you had any training?
David, I have experience of around 4.5 years.
4.5 years experience, yeah, with training or just as practical experience?
With the training.
With training, to what level? You're not going to tell me you're a level 9 certified, Microsoft certified technician, because I won't believe that for a second. But but you've had some training. Was that at college or school or?
No, it's after college.
After college, okay. So was this like a technical training school of some kind? When you say I get the feeling that you're not telling me the whole truth then.
No, it's kind of acknowledgement.
Okay. So you've got some qualification in technical support, and this is in all platforms, or is it just in Windows?
Yes.
It's all platforms. So you're talking about Apple, Linux, Windows, all that stuff, yeah?
Right.
Okay. So, if I was to come to you and say, I want a contract with you to support my PC, but I don't want any software. I don't want you to load any software on my computer. All I want is the support.
Okay.
Would you make money on that?
Like which kind of support?
Just, well, obviously you can't do hardware support, can you? Because you're where you are and I'm where I am. You know, so it can only be software support or advice if something stops working or something like that. There's no other support that you can give, is there?
So we can only provide the software support, like you have any printer issue, right? And
Yeah.
problem, we can fix that. If you have any driver's problem, you bought any printer and you want to hook up that printer, so we can help you.
So that would be technical advice then in that respects, yeah?
It's a technical support, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Technical advice and telling you that you need to put the IP there, you need to put... I will configure that for you.
Okay. So there is a streak of honesty about you then. There is an aspect of honesty, and I'm quite impressed by that, Bob. Because a lot of people that I've spoken to who do the scamming as a full-time business are not interested in any type of support whatsoever.
David, even if you say about my thoughts, I'm not happy with the kind of things which are going in the market right now.
It's awful, isn't it?
We provide the support. I told you we provide the support to the customers, and that is the truth. If my customer calling me, I will provide the support.
So, how many customers do you actually have? Have you worked up a good database of customers in the 4.5 years that you've been working?
Right.
And of that 4.5 years, how long have you been? How long have you had a toll-free number in the US?
So this is the only one.
I know it's the only one, but how long have you had this number?
Since how long?
Yeah, since how long? Yeah.
Since around 1 year.
About a year, really, that long? I'm surprised. I mean, you only came to our notice probably 3 months ago. If that, maybe not even 2 months ago, I think, when we first came to our notice.
If I ask you a question like how you get this number?
How did we get it?
Yeah.
I'd have to ask Mr. Gardner that. Actually, that was one of his numbers.
So Mr. Gardner gave you this.
It was on the scam page.
It was on one of the. There are lists of numbers published on the internet from people who do the same sort of thing that I do. We share numbers from one person to another, and it was actually on a list of numbers that had been considered to be scammers.
Okay.
And that's an honest answer. And I could probably give you the website of where that number was listed, so you could see it for yourself.
Please. Yeah. Can you please share the website?
I'll ask Mr. Gardner if he can tell me which website it was in.
So you don't know the website name?
I don't know, because I told you just now it was Mr. Gardner's number. Remember?
It's not their fault.
You should be transparent. You should be transparent with me because I gave you all the information.
No, I'm being honest. I'm 100% honest with you, Bob. Mr. Gardner and I also have our separate lives, and this was one of the numbers that he provided.
So Mr. Gardner paying you some amount for it?
No, not at all. No, we don't pay things. Actually, I'll be honest with you, Bob. Your number is on lots of websites now. You are on 800 notes. You are on Who Calls Me. You're on badnumbers.info. You are showcallers.com. You are whatyoupad.com. callercheck.org. whocalledchecker.net. What I'll do, I'll send you a Google link. Copy. I'll tell you the link because I don't have your email address. Unless you want to give me an email address.
No, sir. You just share the website's name.
Okay, I'll tell you then. Okay, you ready to write it down?
Right.
Okay, so it's https //www.google.nl. That's November Lima, like Netherlands, /
Okay.
pound Q equals
POUND, right?
no, the pound symbol hash.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pound Q equals 844-851-5774. If you put that into any of that, you type that in, you'll find your number pops up in lots of places already. But these are just occasional places where someone might make a note and say, I got a phone call from this guy.
Just talking about many websites, like 800 and all these. So can you please tell some of those?
On the websites themselves. Okay, yeah. There's whocallsme.com. There's badnumbers.info. If you put that address into a search engine, or into your browser, it'll list all the websites that your number appears in. So that's just a Google search page.
Talking about the address bar, right?
Yeah, just type what I told you into the address bar. No tricks, no pranks. It's just an honest to goodness web page.
Google his own number.
Or if you Google your own number, you'll come up with all that. All Mr. Gardner did was type your number into the Google search page, into the search bar of Google. I'll read the first one to you. It says, do not trust this telephone number. This is a man who calls himself Charles, but he has a very heavy Eastern accent. He represents some computer tech company, but never diverges the company name. Any computer tech company that begins the call with a "Can you hear me?" is a scam. Never reply with the word yes. Hang up. Now, these are quite isolated ones, and they're fairly well spread apart. The thing that we could do, Mr. Gardner was promising to do, was to saturate the internet with your number, or saturate our group with your number. And that's a pretty horrible thing to do, because it just means that you're never going to get a phone call from anyone else other than one of us, because it just ring and ring and ring. And there are guys who would quite happily spend all day phoning your number over and over and over and over again. So you're having a look, yeah? So who else is with you there? Sometimes, who else is with you? I get the impression that you probably work from home.
Okay, sir, that is wrong.
Is that okay? I'll tell you why I think that. It's just that normally the background is very quiet, so you're either working from home or you're in a building, an office with maybe only one or two other people in it at most. Because occasionally I've heard someone else. You think I'm wrong? Am I?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just telling you I'm telling you how I came to that conclusion. Okay, it's just the background noise is so quiet. I've phoned call centres where you can barely hear the agent talking because of the background noise, and normally you can hear other people talking. Now, if there's more than one person in the room, obviously if there's a phone call, the second person might keep quiet, but if you've got several telephone lines going, there's always going to be some chatter going on. And all the times we phoned you, there's only been one time when there was some conversation going on in the background. So that's what led me to believe you were either on your own or in your house, which was not uncommon. And don't forget, in our experience of talking with people, we've come across quite a few guys who set up a little business like yours working from home, and they probably make quite good money at it. So how many people are where you work then?
So I'm not going to give you that answer, but as your interpretation, that was wrong.
We were wrong.
Yeah. I'm not doing work from home, and you're not one or two person.
So there's more than two people when you're not working from home.
Maybe, but you are wrong.
I'm wrong. Okay. I'm not convinced. I'd like to say I was, but I'm not convinced. And we still get back down to the same thing, the lack of background noise. It's so quiet where you are. It's so utterly quiet. It reminds me of maybe a small office or a small part of a building that there's nobody else really around you, or
another person either.
And all the times we've spoken to you, we've only once heard another person in the background, and that was somebody who was probably quite a bit older than you, who became very abusive and was telling us to go away and things like that. So that's why we drew the conclusions that we drew. And if they're wrong, they're wrong. I mean, all we can do is make assumptions based on evidence, and sometimes the evidence has to be supposition rather than real fact. Clearly you're not going to tell us that, and we can only guess at it based on what we can feel or hear or see or whatever. So so how old are you? Did you say you were 21? Bob?
Hello?
Hi.
I'm so sorry, sir. Hello?
Yeah, I was just saying, did you say you were 21 when I was talking to you before?
Sir, just give me 1 minute. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So is this one of your imaginary people that you were talking to?
Imaginary?
No, I'm joking with you, Bob, honestly. Remember my supposition that you're working on your own. So if you're talking to someone else, based on my supposition, it has to be an imaginary person. I know you told me that's wrong, but it still makes me feel funny. It's still humorous to me to believe that. So, the other night we were talking to you, and someone older came on and was shouting a bit. Who was that?
Hello?
Hello? You keep disappearing off.
Sorry?
Oh, you've put it on speakerphone now. Okay.
And one thing also that from which part of the US you are calling? If I'm not wrong, you are calling us from the east part.
I'm not in the US, Bob.
You're not in the US.
No.
Okay. And then Canada?
I'm not in any part of America or the Americas.
Okay.
You got to remember, Bob, the internet is a very small place, and I can appear to be anywhere I want to be. And the fact that your number is a free phone number in the US means that I need to appear to be phoning you from the US to make that number free phone, yeah? So if I'm phoning from Italy or France or Germany or Sweden, then your number's not going to be free phone for me. So what I have to do is appear to be in the US so that I can use your US free phone number. So you've heard of VPNs and things like that, I assume, yeah?
Right.
Yeah, so it's just that. That's all we do. So we phone free phone numbers all over the world for call centres. My location is utterly irrelevant. I'm not in the US. The number that I phoned you from is purely random at the moment. It's a US number, but it's generated by software. It's not a real number. You couldn't phone me on it, for example, because as soon as I hang up the call, that number will disappear. I do have another number, which is a UK number that I can call from, but that's only useful for phoning the UK numbers.
Okay, sir. I will ask you one question that I'm not sure, but you told me that you are not calling from US, right?
I am definitely 100%, I promise you, I swear on my life, I'm not calling you from the US. No, hang on, that's not strictly true. I'm not in the US. The phone system I'm using comes out in the US, so there's a technicality there, but I personally am not anywhere near the US.
Okay.
I don't have to be. You see, the thing is, by using VPNs and internet telephones and things like that, I can be anywhere. You know, I could be sitting in Moscow. I could be sitting in Moscow just now, calling you as if I was sitting in Bakersfield or New York or anywhere. It really makes no difference. I mean, you know for yourself, you've got a free phone number in the US, and you're not in the US, are you? So, you know, it's only the same thing. You've got internet telephony, which has pushed that number from the US to your location. You know,
your accent sounds like you are calling from US.
You think so? I don't know how to promise you that I'm not. All I can say is that I'm not.
I trust you as you just.
I've explained it fairly clearly how I'm not calling from the US and how I can appear to be calling from the US. And the only reason I appear to be calling from the US is because yours is a US number.
All right.
And that's it. That's the only reason. If you had a Czechoslovakian free phone number, I would appear to be calling from Czechoslovakia, for example. You know, if you had an Indian free phone number, I would appear to be calling from India. The internet is a very
how many people like us you come across today? Like you are
today.
Working on a case to case, or you have specifically our number?
Oh, today Mr. Gardner and I have spoken to at least 5 or 6 people today, and
different companies,
different
right?
companies, yeah, different call centers.
Okay.
and probably spent half an hour or more with each one. We've been nice today. We're in a good mood today, so we're having nice conversations with people today. Mr. Gardner is actually speaking with someone right now. He's calling another company that has an unfortunate name.
You are doing this for a social, or what is the purpose behind this?
That's a good question, Bob. I often wonder myself. I find that I like talking to people. You might notice I like talking because I never know when to shut up. And
is David your real name?
Is Bob your real name?
No, sir. I gave the answer that no, Bob is not my real name.
No.
That's a question, but
I use David. I always use David as a name when I'm doing this, but that's not my real name.
Okay.
And as you don't want to give me your real name, I don't.
We are on this point that why you are doing this.
Sometimes we like to do it just to waste your time, and I'm being very blunt about this. The concept is that if we believe that you are a scammer, okay, we've got to stipulate that we believe you are a scammer. Our role in this is, because it only uses our time, it doesn't cost us any money, is to waste as much time as possible of yours so that you don't have the chance to phone somebody and scam them out of money. The other thing that we do...
So what is your benefit?
The other thing that we do, now this is the serious side of what we do, is we collect information, a lot of information, and things like when you connect to my computer, for example, I have data mining equipment which can pinpoint your IP address even though you're using Citrix routers and things like that. So I can get a very, very accurate location of where you are, and certainly I know your IP, your internet provider and things like that. And I collect a lot of information, and then it gets passed on to the authorities. So far we've actually managed to shut down 3 huge call centres and at least half a dozen smaller ones. You may have seen some of the arrests of people.
Have you shut down any call center in India?
In India, yeah, that's our main target. That's when most of them are, of course. India, Pakistan, and Philippines seem to be the most favourable locations just now for...
So have you shut down any call center in India?
Yeah.
Can you please name the center?
The main one that we shut down, once again, I'd have to refer to Mr. Gardner for their name. I'm not joking with you. I don't keep that information. I don't have to. The main thing that we do is pass on the information to the authorities. Okay? Now, we either shut you down by passing the information on to the authorities and making them aware, and then the call centre gets raided. And you'll remember, I'm sure, that in the past few months there's been several major call centres raided. The other thing is, we can shut you down by just literally tying up your phone line. Now, all the time you're talking to me, you're not talking to someone else, you're losing money, and I appreciate that you're talking to me, and we've been quite candid with each other so far. But it's... there's a great sense of satisfaction in knowing that I've prevented someone else getting scammed. Because I know people that have been scammed who are so not able to afford the money that they paid out, and they're so innocent and naive about computers that you could tell them that the blue part of the screen is the virus and they would believe you. And it's people like that I feel like I'm protecting in a way. So we put these discussions, videos that we make and things like that into the public domain, and hope that people become educated about the various scams that are going around. And it's technical support is only one small scam that's going around.
How are you getting benefit from that? It's like.
Do you mean are we making any money from it? Do you mean we don't make money out of it? We don't make any money at all. The benefit we get is purely psychological, emotional. I think that there's another word. Altruistic. Yeah, altruistic. There were some call centres, I've just remembered the names actually. You're asking about call centres that we shut down. Instatech was one of them, Instatech Experts, and Iogi, we had them shut down for about 4 or 5 weeks while their phone system was being revamped because we'd swamped their lines with thousands of calls every day. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed that. Once again, I apologise. It sounded like I was doing most of the talking, which is true, but that's only because Bob was very reticent to speak. If you like the video, please leave a comment and click on like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Please subscribe. And don't forget to click on the little bell symbol so that you'll be the first to know when I post a new video. I've got a really special video planned to celebrate my 100th subscriber, and also a little prize for that person, whoever that may be. I look forward to the next time, and thanks for watching.